Happy Hot Market Monday, Chris from Fluent Mortgage, Market Fluently. The title of this one is You Can Do Anything, question mark, exclamation point, question mark. So this is our catchphrase of the year. I mean it. You are loved, you are special, you can do anything. To you, truly. I think our elected officials must have been listening to me and took that to heart because the Federal Reserve had another hearing with all of our elected officials for 5.5 hours. And I don't know if you're crazy like me, but I listened all 5.5 hours, right? And you can definitely tell it's election season because literally, unlike the last hearing that was very intelligent, so much information shared both ways, pandering. And clearly most of our elected officials don't know what their jobs are and don't know what the Fed can do. They must have believed me that the Fed can do anything, right? So, because over and over, they kept asking them, are you going to lower gas prices? We'll put a snip at the end. Understand, the Federal Reserve can only influence demand, not supply. So respectfully, over and over, he's like, that's your job. You're the one that influenced. That's through rulemaking, right? That's outside my control. So if you stop saying reduce gas prices. Bottom line, he's not going to be able to reduce gas prices. We need to get ready for $10 a gallon. They're talking about how to adjust the gas pumps because there's only one digit on the dollar sign. We need two. Kind of like back in the 80s, we went from 99 cents. We weren't ready for the dollar sign. They're getting ready for the 10. Specific to rates, 1.5% to 2% higher by year's end. That's if we don't print more money. But bottom line, all the Federal Reserve can influence and their core responsibilities is employment and economic control, right? So raising rates, lowering rates, making it cheaper, expensive to borrow money, that's it. So bottom line, gasoline, that's your representatives. Talk to them about adjusting rulemaking, influence, supply side. Okay? The truth is, yes, you and I can do anything, we can choose to do anything in life, but the Federal Reserve has a very strict mandate. So we know rates are going to be higher by year's end. We know gasoline prices are going to go up. That's the reality. Now, what you do today and how you take advantage, call someone smart. Call us because you can win in any environment. High rates, low rates, sellers markets, buyer markets, take advantage. All right, guys. Chris from Fluent Mortgage, market fluently. You are loved, you're special, and you can do anything.
Oil companies, and they're indicating that, well, I'm not going to drill because I'm making profits because the price of gas is so high. So you would assume, I would hope that you would take that into consideration, that it's going to continue these high prices because there is a challenge in holding these oil companies accountable.
So in principle, we pay attention to anything that could affect the use of our tools and the need to use our tools. And I think with the future price of oil, the best thing you can probably do is look at oil futures, because that futures in theory should be taking into account all of these factors, and that's what we do. But ultimately, the question for us is, do we raise or lower interest rates? We don't have tools that would address these practices that you're discussing. They're not really, of course, we understand them.
Well, do you have concerns that these oil companies are manipulating or controlling the prices that we have right now? Do you take that into consideration with the tools that you need to reduce inflation and reduce these costs?
Honestly, those are not judgments for us to make. The questions about industry structure and competition are really not, it's not our assignment. Our assignment is employment and price stability.
The outcome of that infrastructure is something you've got to take into consideration.
Yes, very
Unless
much.
they change, the prices are not coming down. Unless they stop giving profits and sharing that with their shareholders and start addressing and looking at actually the consumer at the other end of this who is bearing the brunt of it, these prices are not going to come down. I would assume you take that into consideration. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, when you say take it into consideration, we do have to have a forecast of oil prices, and we do. But ultimately, though, the question for us is price inflation. What's happening with price inflation? And it's a macroeconomic question. It's not a question about industry structure or corporate behavior. It's a question about what will be the behavior of inflation across the economy. And in particular, there's really not anything that we can do about oil prices. There's a little, food prices is a bit more mixed, but for oil prices, they're set at the global level. It has to do with global oil prices and also the refining spread. Neither of these are things that we have the tools to affect.
Does it concern you that these oil companies haven't come to the table to look for a solution to help us reduce
Honestly,
fuel costs?
I don't think it's appropriate for the Fed or for me to be reaching out into areas of policy that are not assigned to us. It's not up to us to comment on that sort of thing. We have a very specific job and precious independence to carry that job out, and I think the other side of that is stick to that job. And our job is maximum employment and price stability.